It's 105.7 The Point, and we got some really exciting news earlier this week that not only would we be getting a visit from our friends from Sacramento, California, Cake in June, but we're getting 2 nights with Cake at the beautiful factory, June 24th and 25th. And joining me to talk about the show and what's going on in the land of Cake, it is John, the lead singer. John, it is wonderful to get a chance to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time and for joining me today.
Oh, well, thanks for having me, Donny.
Well, so the first thing that I want to do is wish you a happy anniversary, because if I am not mistaken, which I don't believe I am, it was on this date back in 1994 that you released your very first record, Motorcade of Generosity. So it's a bit of an anniversary today.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. Thanks for letting me know.
You know what's so crazy is when I saw that, and, you know, when we're putting this phone thing together for the show, I thought, well, certainly they know that that's when the album came out, and it's, you know, an anniversary sort of thing. But yes, it's been 31 years since you released that thing. Do you have sort of, fond memories of that sort of thing? Do you go back and revisit that album? Any of those kinds of things, memory wise? No,
I mean, I didn't know it was today. I knew it was sometime early in the year, like January, but I think, I do have fond memories. I think it might be my favorite album of ours, mostly because it was just so scrappy. And I guess it came during a time when music was trying to sound really big and powerful. Mm-hmm. And it's such a puny sounding record, and I like it. It's sort of really sort of obstinately small sounding record, and I like it still.
John, I can remember driving on the highway to my parents' house when I was still living there, and I remember hearing this song come on the radio called Rock and Roll Lifestyle. And I remember thinking, I have not heard a song that sounds like this. I love this. Who is this? There was just something so distinctly different about you guys. I would think at that particular time, I would think that would have worked for you. Is that correct in saying?
Yeah, although we weren't taken seriously at all. Basically, everyone assumed that the whole thing was a joke. And although, there's humor in our music, there's also like other stuff like sadness and regret and all, other human
emotions
aspects. Yeah. But I think that, at the time, it was just a lot of really big, powerful, like early 90s, like, rock bands, and I think we were sort of like a palate cleanser in between the real music at that time, I think for a lot of people.
Right.
But then like a few years went by and like all those big, powerful bands were gone and we were still around. So it just kind of, I don't know, for some reason they let us live.
Cake will be here in St. Louis at the factory June 24th and 25th. Those tickets are on sale right now. And there's so many things that I want to ask you, John, but I want to start with your vocals. They are, like I said before, they're distinct. They're different. When did you figure out that, hey, I can sing? It might be a little bit different than how the other folks do it, but I really have kind of a unique thing of my own here. When did that become apparent to you?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. I'm not sure it's ever really become apparent to me, honestly. I just started singing because I didn't think anybody else would want to sing my weird songs. And I thought I have to, in order to do the songs, somebody's got to sing them. So it was not something I took any pride in. I just thought, okay, so, here, I guess I got to sing this now because I made it up. Right. And that was about as much thought as I gave to it. And, gradually I started realizing, oh, yeah, my voice sounds different. A lot of people think that I'm just talking the whole time. But I'm actually trying to sing. And so anyway, there's a lot of different perspectives on one thing sometimes. And mostly I am grateful in the long run that my voice sounds different than other people so that people can know, oh, it's that band. There's a lot of bands where it's like the voice is so similar to another band and I don't even know which one it is.
Yeah. Where you could be like, oh, this could be XYZ or L band. Like it could be any of those. Musically, they would sound the same, and then, vocally as well. Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah. In retrospect, I'm super grateful, but it wasn't like I tried to make my voice sound different so that people would recognize us. This is all I can do.
This is what it is. So, John, I want to ask you about, and there's been talk of this for a while, but, those of us that are fans of Cake, we are anxiously and eagerly awaiting new music from you guys. I know you had released a single kind of late last year, but can you tell us about a full-length record? And then I thought I read about maybe the possibility of there being a live album and then a full-length record later in the year. Am I off base there? Tell me.
Well, I'm so close to finishing this full length record. I think that's the next thing from us.
Okay.
And I don't know when it's going to be done, but it's so close to being finished. I can't imagine it not being done in the next few months, really.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exciting to me because I didn't even know. Like I did. It's been a long time since we released a full length record, and I had kids and stuff. It was just like it was hard for me to like marshal the energy to really put all those songs together. But I finally did it, and I'm proud of that because it wasn't easy. It wasn't. I got sidetracked, and not in a bad way, but
no, just with life.
And then, and then, when you get sidetracked, you're not sure if you can do it anymore, So that's terrifying. But I think I can, and I think you'll like it. I think you might.
Man, you're almost kind of. I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but it's almost like you're sort of reluctant to maybe admit that. Or not even reluctant to admit, but just how good of a band Cake is and how good of a songwriter you are and how anxious we are to hear, new Cake music for the first time in a long time. I understand that it's tough sometimes to give yourself the pat on the back, but sir, you're really fantastic. And I know people are going to be so stoked for not only these shows, but for new music whenever it is that you put it out.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. That's nice to hear. And I don't know if I believe it, but I definitely, I like what we do. So there's that, but I also know that it's not for everybody, so it's, and I like that it's not for everybody. I'm not trying to make it not for everybody, but I like what it is. I think I'd probably listen to it if I wasn't in the band. So
see that to me, that's about as high of a compliment as you could give yourself to me. I think I would listen to this if I wasn't in the band. That I think says something.
Yeah. That's my litmus. I think is I ask myself, oh, would I? Yeah, I think I probably would.
So
there's that.
John, just a couple of things here real quick in closing. And again, Cake will be here for 2 nights, June 24th and 25th over at the Factory. Tickets are on sale now. One of the things that I am incredibly concerned about as a music lover is how little money is to be made for bands these days, whether that be, and I feel like it's that way on almost all, ways. In every way that they can make money, there's sort of this caveat that keeps them from being able to make money. I worry about bands from England being able to come over to the States and tour here, that it's going to be too expensive. What can we do as music fans to, foster a great environment for musicians to be able to do what they do? And not just really, honestly, musicians, but artists, whatever. I just want my band people to be able to be band people and make music and do the things that they do. But I know that that is not how it is or has been in a while. What can we as fans do to help artists to really try to, give them a little extra push right now when I know it's so freaking tough and so freaking expensive to tour and to do what you guys need to do? I'm sorry, that's very long-winded, but I had a lot backed up there, I guess.
No, yeah, I get that. I appreciate that you see the situation pretty clearly. Not everybody does. I think people kid themselves about it, but I think I don't know what listeners can do. I almost feel like artists have to do something for themselves that they don't know how to do and they've never done before, which is somehow aggregate their power. We don't tend to cooperate well with each other. But I think that's what it's going to actually take for artists to have any hope for the future, because it's not going to get any better. It's probably just going to get worse unless there's some kind of major shift in the way we approach things. My two dreams are, if somebody could put together a nonprofit or co-op music streaming platform / social networking system for people that make stuff. It could be musicians, it could be filmmakers, but people who are kind of getting hit hard with the digital thing, so that they could have agency and so that they didn't have to share 95% of it with a Nordic billionaire.
Right.
But I think that that's the one half of my dream is that artists could create basically a platform that is like a co-op, and that puts the money back into gives it to the artist and the platform, not a bunch of stockholders, not a bunch of rich people. And then the second part of my dream is that artists can actually have a meaningful union so that we could actually collectively bargain. And currently the laws are written in a way that prevents us from aggregating our economic power. So if I were to say, for instance, as an individual or a band to Spotify, no, I want 0.007 of a penny, they would say, okay, well, just take a hike. We don't care. Go away. Right. And I could really be a pretty big band, and that's what would happen. But what if 100 or 500 or even 1,000 economically significant artists all together said to Spotify or some other platform, actually we want 0.0. I think that's where we would have a seat at the table. I think that's the only way we're going to have a seat at the table. With a platform that has literally hundreds of thousands of artists, we have no negotiational leverage. So anyway, those are the two parts of my dream. If anybody wants to help artists get that together, give me a call. But I think I would totally do a benefit concert for something like that. Either of those two things. Yeah. And I mean, that makes a lot of sense too. I just, man, it's tough for me because I feel guilty to a certain extent in the way that music works these days, and knowing that, probably half of my favorite artists don't even have health insurance, for Christ's sake. And that to me is just disgusting. And it makes me feel kind of guilty as a music fan. You know what I mean? That's not how this is supposed to operate. It's nice that you feel bad, but it's not that you shouldn't feel guilty. You didn't cause this, and, it's a messed up system. There's all kinds of changes that could happen for the better. But I think it's going to take some force of will and cooperative spirit from a lot of different people and different players. And, I'd like to see that happen. I would certainly help. But for now, it's just awful. Yeah. I have friends of mine who I think are literally important songwriters who are finding other jobs, it's rough. Just awful. All right. Well, John, thank you so very much for your time. And before I let you go, I just want to let you know that in my life, I am also a massive, 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 massive Ben Folds fan.
And your collaboration with Ben on his Rockin' the Suburbs album, Fred Jones Part 2, is one of my very favorite collaborations in the history of mankind. So I just wanted to say not only thank you for your time, but thank you for that, everything that you do with Cake. And we're really looking forward to seeing you back in St. Louis in June at the factory.
Thank you so much, Donny. We appreciate it.